Hello, happy Saturday, happy weekend. Although when you're watching this, it is most likely Wednesday when I post my videos. But I just wanted to say happy new start of a week. We are, let me check my calendar so I say it properly, officially starting week 20. I cannot believe we are already on week 20 of 2022. Oh boy. So it is still the historical romance readathon that ends tomorrow on Sunday. And as you saw in last week's vlog, I have already read one book for it. And I have not read anything else. And I still have not read anything else. I do plan on tonight picking up, it's over on my headboard, the Julia Quinn graphic novel that just came out, Miss Butterworth and the Mad Baron. So if I do, I probably will, but I need to read that, and I need to at least read the Rake Appreciation Society book, but it is 8:30 Saturday night, and I have not picked up a book all day. So, I'm going to talk at you a little bit about some things. So, last week, to kind of end my vlog, I mentioned how I have been kind of struggling mentally the last few days, and a lot of my downtime is I spend reading because that is what I love. But when I'm in a weird mental funk, I can't just put on music and read, or I can't just sit down and watch TV or movie or something. I need to be more actively engaged in what I'm doing. So I came up with an idea thanks to my weekly Pinterest emails. And I saw some flower origami. And so Friday night, spent a lot of time kind of thinking about doing some origami because I haven't done it in forever. And I thought it would be fun because I know Bree does a TBR jar and she has little origami stars, which I thought was super cute. But I mean, I want it to be unique. So I decided to do a TBR starting with June. So I'm kind of putting them together, and I'm going to start easy and not pick too many. Right now, at least for the month of May, there is a lot going on. Usually though, I only have 1 or 2 reading challenges that aren't super hard to work on because they have generic prompts. And then usually there might be a readathon sometimes, especially moving into the summer, because I know at least a lot of the people that I follow on Bookstagram are teachers or in or work for schools or are somehow on the school work schedule, so a lot more things happen during the summer. So I'm nervous that I'll take on too much more than I can handle. But I thought it might be fun because I know TBRs are a fun thing that people like to know what people are planning to reading. And I don't like strict TBRs. Usually my TBR is Rake Appreciation Society book, whatever the Smart Women Read Romance Patreon exclusive book is. And then if I'm doing a read along, or sometimes if I'm doing a read-a-thon, if there is a group book that I really want to read. And a lot of the times I do plan on reading the group book when I go in, but that doesn't always happen. I don't think I'm going to get to the historical romance read-a-thon group book because I'm out of time. And I'm not in the mood for Julie Garwood. Even though I really like Julie Garwood, I don't know. I was super excited and in the mood for historical, and I'm quite not in the mood for historical anymore. But let's be honest, I'm not really in the mood for reading right now. But anyway, so I figured I can at least be somewhat productive to reading plans. So I am going to do origami flowers for my TBR. And I have 2, so I'm going to do so it'll be like a TBR jar, but I'm going to pull flowers, and I need to figure out how I want to do. I think I do want to do hot glue though, to glue the flowers onto a stem so that I can easily pull them apart, because hot glue is something that you can easily take apart. Although with paper, I don't know. I might have to test it. But that's for a whole other thing. But in case you did not watch last week's vlog, I am going to do tulips. And they're all different colors. I have some yellow ones and some green ones and some pink ones. And so these are, so the prompts that are on my tulips are backlist authors. So I chose 10, and whatever tulip I choose, and I already don't remember which ones I wrote on, which one I just kind of was pulling a color and then writing on them and then folding them. But anyway, so those are, I have a huge list of backlist of authors I want to get to their backlist for. And I only have like 25-ish, but I chose 10 that are like high priority for me, or that I only have, like I only have a couple more books to finish their backlist on, or something along those lines. So I chose those for my tulips. And then I did cherry blossoms, and these are 10 series that I either need to continue / finish. So I have a couple of series where I only have 2 books left in the series, either because when I was caught up, there wasn't any other books at that time. And since the couple years since I stopped reading them, more books have since come out, or they are long-running book series like Immortals After Dark that I've only read a couple of books in and want to definitely read more, but it's a long book and it's kind of intimidating to pick up those long series. But here is the thing for the series is, depending on the series and depending on my mood will be how far I push it. So if I pull, say, Immortals After Dark, because that is one of my prompts, and I read book 2, because that is the next book I have, if I'm super duper excited for it, and the next book, I might just pick up book 3, and maybe I'll pick up 1 book, or maybe I'll pick up 4 books. But then depending on how I feel the following month when I work on my TBR video, if I'm still in the Immortals After Dark mood, I'll just carry over that TBR choice. But if I'm not, then I'll I don't know, probably fold it back up and stick it back on, or I might just wait until I go through all the flowers and then re-put it back up there, or reassess and go from there. So that one is still a little bit more in flux. And I've been debating on what I want to do for the third option, because I wanted to do 3 books, and then maybe that'll help kind of get my reading back in gear. So I was kind of debating on if I want to do generic tropes or put a sticker up on Instagram and have people give me tropes. But I decided to do new authors, and I haven't put together my list yet, but I want to go through either my Kindle, and then I also want to glance through my library app and see if there's any books that I've bought in paperback that from an author that I have not read, that I either bought because of a step back, or it looked really cute, or I found it on sale somewhere or something like that. So I want to do 10 new authors. And then at that point, if I end up reading the author before I pull them, then okay. But if I don't, then I'll want to read at least 1 book by that author. So the only strict thing really is the next book in a series, but at least with it being either a backlist author or a new author, I can still kind of mood read in potentially different genres for whatever prompt I chose. So I'm still trying to be less strict with my options, just because I am 90% a mood reader. So I am probably going to do either a lily or an iris or some kind of flower like that. I have a couple different options that I have saved, so I need to figure out, and then I also need to figure out my 10 authors that I want to do for there. So my plan is to, the rest of the night, figure out those 10 new authors and get those all folded, and then I can work on stems and how I want to store them. I'll probably just do a mason jar and do those little pretty glass beads in them or something, but we'll see what I have around. But yeah, so lots of things going on, book-ish related, but not actual reading. But yeah, so, and it's late, but I figured I'd film my opening clip since I'm all somewhat more dressed up. My good friend Billy came up from Greeley, which is where we went to college together. She's one of my best friends. We used to room together. I roomed with her and her husband, and she brought her cute little girl up who's turning 3 this year, and we went out to eat to the Olive Garden, and it was just really fun to catch up because I haven't seen her in a while. And I don't know. It was crazy because I was trying to figure out what options to give her on where she wanted to go. And Olive Garden was one of the options. And then I was like, from what I could tell, Olive Garden is the only one that has mac and cheese for the kiddo. But we used to go to Olive Garden and get their all-you-can-eat soups and salads. I want to say like once a month. They're maybe not quite that frequent, but regularly we would go to Olive Garden for lunch dates. And I was like, oh, I'm thinking about that. She's like, me too. And we used to stand on corners late at night because I worked in the computer labs on campus, and I think she was the director or something, one of the people that helped run the like indie film people. So a lot of times we would both be working late in the same side of campus. And I can't tell you how many times we stood on the corner, which is not smart in Greeley, just talking until like 2 or 3 in the morning. And then they have like not police officers, but like the campus security people that just kind of walk the campus late at night just to make sure everybody's safe, so that if there are people coming late from an event or the library or something like that, there are other people around in case you want either a walk home, because they'll do that. They'll help walk you to your dorm, or if you live just off campus, they'll walk with you there. And they would walk by and be like, you guys are still here? Yeah, we're fine. But I don't know, it was good to see her. So, and it was fun to go out to eat because I haven't been out to eat in I don't know how long. That's not something I regularly do. And I made some tea in my Mandalorian mug. And I've showed this tea before, but I decided to go with a green tea because, it's always good after you eat. And I did my sweet Sakura green tea, which is from the Japanese tea company. And I love it. This is one of my favorite green teas. It's just so good. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. I've rambled on you for 13 minutes. So let me at least do the quest calendar. Since we are at the beginning of a new week, I'll do my little spiel before we get into it. I am playing Quest Calendars 2022, The Gates of Terralon. This is created by Sundial Games. It is a daily calendar based off of tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, that kind of stuff. And we have been tasked, we finally got to like the meat of the story, that there are gates between other worlds, that the demon world has basically kind of crashed through and invaded all of these other worlds. So we are trying to collect all the shards from the demon world gate and put it back together to basically stop them from ruining the universe. So we are currently in our first other world, and we are traveling so last week we took the route across the plains to Burning Peak, and we are going after a dragon who we think might have taken the piece that fell into this world, the piece of the gate. So let us see. And then just so you know, when we get on a new day, the italicized writing is basically the story. The print writing in the boxes is the mechanics that we need to know, and then any rolls or information that we need is on the back of the previous day. So, looks like a lava river. Very cool. Okay. You find yourself at the base of Burning Peak among the Ashen Mountains. You find a large river of lava cuts off. Oh my goodness. You find a large river of lava cuts off your path. After walking along it for some time, you find a place with jetting stones that may allow you to step across. All right. Make your way across the river carefully. Roll a d20 plus dexterity, reminder athlete, and danger sense. We have both of those. We also get a +2 from athlete from our follower. So we get a +2 from athlete, a +2 from danger sense, and a +2 from athlete from our follower. So that is a total of +6 plus our dexterity, which is also a +6. So we are +12 to whatever we roll. So we have a good chance of succeeding with this, even if we don't roll so hot. So pulled out my d20 and we will do our roll for the week, or for the day, for the weekend, I guess. And it is a 10. So not bad, not bad. But oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know if we're exactly in the same spot, but we rolled a 10, and I'll stop trying to wave my hands around so animatedly. What are we? We are +12, so we are at 22. So let us see what our result is. If the result is 16 or more, you make it across the river of lava quickly and easily. All right, simple, easy, and we are done with the quest calendar. So that is all I have for you now. I'm going to probably put on some Married at First Sight. I have been watching because season 10 was added to Netflix. And so I have been watching it just for fun because the only season before this one I had seen is the one that's currently airing, season 14. So I decided to watch it. But what's crazy is my boss did not see this one. So I can't even talk to her about it. But there is the podcast that I listen to on YouTube about Married at First Sight that's done by an actual marriage therapist. She reviewed season 10. So I'll watch an episode and then watch her review, and then watch an episode and then watch her review. So I'm over halfway through that. So I'll probably put that on while I'll work on my 3rd flower origami TBRs. And then I'm hopefully going to pick up at least that graphic novel tonight because that should be a quick read. I don't know what prompts it'll cover, but I will save that clip for my historical romance readathon vlog, which I have not updated since I went and saw Doctor Strange. Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday, but that is okay. Alrighty, I'll stop blabbering at you, and I'll see you all later. Hello, happy Sunday. I just wanted to do a quick little update. I did pick up and read Miss Butterworth and the Mad Baron by Julia Quinn, illustrated by her sister, Violet Charles. I'm going to give this 4 stars. You can hear more of my thoughts about it in the historical romance readathon, although I didn't talk too much about it because, as you can tell, I have a clay mask going on, so I have a very small amount of time. But I did want to do a quick update on it since it wasn't going to be a big update. I was able to use this for a couple of prompts. So for Love Has Sprung, I had to move it to board number 2. And I'm going to use it for Diverse Hero because our hero is half Indian, like Middle Eastern Indian. Or I guess Asian Indian. Geography, man. And then I'm also going to use it for the Taylor Swift Quarterly Challenge to cover the prompt for the song Mine. And that is either read a book you own or read a book you don't want to give back if you borrowed it. But I own it. It's a new release. It came out last Tuesday. Like I said, I gave it 4 stars. Super fun, super zany. Check out my historical romance readathon vlog if you want to know more about what my thoughts were on it. But that is all I have for now. Oh, I do want to mention, I did check Emerald Lotus Divination because I do want to do my tarot spread tonight. And I emailed it to myself, so I'm pulling up my email here. But she has an old Scorpio full moon because it's the full moon in Scorpio tonight in technically 2 hours and 12 minutes. But I wasn't super, it was more tailored to a previous Scorpio full moon, and I wasn't quite feeling the vibe of it. So I checked on Instagram because I follow a couple Twitter spread hashtags, and I found one. Let me pull it up. I'll post it here. So this is by Boho Lifestyle. I'll link her Instagram page down below. And this not only is a full moon in Scorpio, but it's a lunar eclipse full moon. And I've heard it also is a blood moon in some places. So that's super fun and super crazy that all of them are hitting at the same time. So I went ahead and I'm going to do this 6-card spread. And so I have question number 1. What have I released since the last full moon? Question number 2, what is the eclipse bringing up in me to be healed? Question number 3, what part of my shadow needs to be integrated most right now? Number 4, how can I bring more light into my life? Number 5, what area of my life is being activated by this eclipse? And number 6, what am I manifesting into my life this lunar cycle? So I'm super excited for it. I wanted, a lot of the Scorpio full moons are focused on shadow work, and this one does touch a little bit on shadow work, but it also is more general too, so it touches on the shadow, but it's not completely shadow, because I haven't done too much shadow work in tarot yet, so that's a little daunting, and I want to feel a little bit more comfortable before I really open up myself more vulnerably like that to the cards. But I decided I'm going to do my Mystical Cat tarot deck because this is a good everyday deck, and I have been mostly doing daily cards. Most of the time I'll just kind of shuffle it in my hand instead of doing like a normal card shuffle. I'll shuffle them like if you played tabletop card games in card sleeves like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh or things like that, and it's hard to do this one-handed, but it's like when you have the stack and then you pull up like chunks of the cards and then put them into each other like that, if that makes sense. And then I'll just kind of randomly split the deck, and that'll be my card of the day instead of doing a full sit down, shuffle 4 times and draw the 4th card and all that. But so far it's been kind of interesting to see what's going on, but I haven't really sat with them too much because I usually do it on my way out the door. But yeah, anyway, that's the deck I'm going to be using and the spread that I'm going to be using, and I'll film a little B-roll clip of me doing my spread. But then after I get done doing my face tonight and do my tarot spread, I'm going to read the rest of the night. It's just about 8 o'clock. I decided to take a shower early and just relax the rest of the night and kind of reset before tomorrow comes, because we've got work and spring is kind of finally hit, and we call it like we've been busy. But it used to be the April, May, June insanity of people. But April was normal busy and not slammed. But it started to kind of pick up last week now that we're in May. And we got a few rainy days. So I don't know. I'm nervous about that and about my car. And so I'm just going to try to have a nice relaxing night before, and try to just zone out and read and not think about life too much until it slaps me in the face tomorrow. But hopefully everything will be okay. I need to not think like that. I just know it'll be hard and tough going and stressful, but I know that going in, so hopefully I can help prepare myself better. But anyway, I'll stop rambling at you because I just can't help myself, and I will see you all later.
Hello. Happy Monday. It is about 9:30 Monday night, and I figured I should finally film my clip. So, I have not read very much. I did pick up this morning The Rake Appreciation Society book.
This is it.
It's like, where's my Kindle?
It is Diana Quincy, I know that. The Marquess makes his move.
And I am 2% in, so I need to read it. And I need to try to finish it. And then I have 2 books, so I need to finish this by Thursday. And then I have 2 books I need to finish by Friday. So I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But yeah. So I finished my editing. And while that was on, I was catching up on some of my YouTubers that I follow that do historical dress videos, because I'm a nerd and I like history and I like learning about history of dress, and especially because I like a lot of historical romances, and a couple of them were talking about the Marilyn Monroe dress that Kim Kardashian wore. And I know a lot of people, apparently from these videos, I'm not big on, like, I don't really stay up to date on pop culture stuff. But I kind of agree with what a lot of them said, where it's not the fact that Kim Kardashian is wearing Marilyn Monroe's dress, but the fact that it's not safely kept in a pressure, temperature, light controlled box in an archive somewhere to be kept as pristine as possible, because it is a part of American pop culture, especially when you're looking at like dress and iconic fashion not characters, but fashion icons through American history. So that is my issue with her wearing the dress, and I will stick it in the cards above. Abby Knox has, I love the way that she talked about it, and she goes in about what the actual accreditation and rules is of museums when it comes to historical dresses and clothing in general, and how Ripley's is not only not an accredited museum, but this allowing Kim Kardashian to wear this dress basically is going to set into precedence that they will never be able to become a historical or be an accredited museum, because they were not following the museum guidelines of how to treat your curated items that has been set in practice, not just by American museums, but all museums for decades. So I also did not like the interview that she did, where she was talking about how she had to like basically go on a keto diet and then lose a bunch of weight to fit into the dress, and the implications that put forth when, yeah. But anyway, if you want to learn more, and I feel like Abby Knox talked about it the best way possible. So, like I said, her video is linked above in the card, and I thought it was really brilliantly done. I just love her anyway, but yeah, it was really good. So, I don't have much to say about the book because I'm only 2% in. So, outside of that, I'm just going to do the quest calendar and then get ready and then read in bed. And if you were wondering, I was able to limp my car into a transmission only shop today. And thankfully no issues happened when I was driving it there. The light did come on, so I was thankful that there was like a new ping of the light to help them figure out what's going on. But it was also kind of annoying that it wasn't doing anything, and they said it would take like 3 hours, and I took it in just after 11, and I didn't hear anything all day, and that's frustrating because I just hate not knowing. Whether it's a $200 bill or a $2,000 bill, I need to know so I can figure out what I'm doing and formulate a plan You know, that kind of thing. So I've been kind of very upset and nervous and stressed out about it because I just don't know how much it's going to be and what is exactly going on with my car. Although it wouldn't surprise me with the luck that I've had with this car in the past that they could find nothing wrong with it, because that has happened with my car before. And it went to 5 different mechanics and nobody could figure out what was wrong. And then finally one of them was just like, we're just going to put a new, not new, but a good used refurbished engine in it because my car is old. And because we can't figure out what exactly is wrong, just something engine wise. But yeah, so, but it's okay. It's okay. It was worth it. I got my car at a steal. Anyway, let's do the quest calendar so I can get ready to go to bed because I am tired. So this weekend we were trying to find the dragon, and we were crossing this like river of lava, which we did successfully because deck-based character. So, woo! Okay, we got a lava monster. Okay. Alright, so it looks like we're going to have 3 rounds. Let me get my dice out. Oh, goodness. And hockey is finally going to be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday, starts round 2, Avalanche against the Blues. I don't know why they freaking waited so long to freaking announce it. I get wanting, like, to wait till most of the, like, to start the games until most everybody was, I don't know. But then I heard something that, depending on what happened with the Stars, if the Dallas Stars won their series, then they would have to switch the Avalanche and Blues days with the Stars and whoever they would be playing days, because the Mavericks play in the same arena, and that's basketball. And so if the Mavericks were already scheduled those games on when the hockey games would be, so I guess they were waiting to confirm. From what I heard, some rumor is that's why they were waiting, because if the Dallas Stars won round 1 for their matchup, then we would have had to switch days with them so that they could play opposite of the Mavericks or something. I don't know. I don't know how they come up with schedules, because a lot of these hockey arenas are also lacrosse arenas, which they have playoffs going on right now too. There's basketball, and a lot of them are also event centers for concerts and different things. Like at the one, I haven't been to a hockey game to ours, but I've been to the Pepsi Arena for the Mammoth, which is the national lacrosse team here, and I've been there for like motocross events and things like that. So whoever does scheduling for those big arenas like that, where they not only have to contend with one sport league and all these other events, but multiple sport leagues and all these other events, they've got to have a billion freaking Excel sheets. But anyway, let me read you the description first, because I'm just talking. Okay. Once across the lava river, you hear a gurgling sound from behind you. You look back to see a large mass of rock and lava rise from the river. A face appears in the rock. Glowing eyes look at you. It arches back a stone arm and hurls the fireball at you. Woo! Okay, so just roll for each round, attack plus damage. So, simple. In 3 rounds, so we will get going. So, let me move this so I can actually read my character sheet. Alright, so we are at a +7. And that is an 8. But we are at a +7, so that is a +15. Or total 15. Alright, round 1. If your attack roll is 14 or more, you hit the creature. The lava monster is what it says. I said creature by myself. Our damage, since we leveled up, is now 2d10s plus 1. And we got a 5 and a 10. Sweet. So 15, so 16. Okay, so if your damage roll is 8 or more, the lava monster is stunned. Very cool, very cool. Okay, round 2. And that is a natural 19. So we were looking for 14 to hit that time. So damage again. And that is, ooh, okay. So that is 15 plus 1. So 16 damage. Okay, and we needed 9 damage to stun him. So he is stunned. And then last round, round number 3. And that is a 13. So 20 total to hit. And we needed a 14, so damage is 9 plus 1, so that is 10. And if your damage roll is 9 or more, the lava monster dies. Sweet. Okay, so if you stun the lava monster 2 rounds, collect 2 gold. We did so. If you also killed the lava monster, collect 1 gold. So we get 3 gold total for stunning and then killing the lava monster. Oh, I did get a letter. I ripped it open, but I haven't actually looked at it. And it is from Vivian the Rat. She did a pre-order thing that I saw for her new book, which comes out the 24th. I cannot freaking wait. And, aw. So here's a bookmark, How to Steal a Scoundrel's Heart. Look at it. Oh, so pretty. I'm so excited. It's got a QR code on the back with the ISBN. I'm telling you, man. Keep covers like this. Keep covers with the clinch and the signed book plate. I thought it was just going to be her signature, but it's actually personalized. That's so sweet. I know it's like not much. She just had a list of people's names and then just wrote it, but still. She's one of my favorite historical authors, so I hope one day I can go to a book convention that she is at and have her sign my books in person, because I love Vivian the Rat and I cannot wait. I was going to reread the series, but I don't know if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to have time to do that. I'm struggling with reading the books I really want to read and have to read for book clubs and stuff, so I don't know what's going to happen there, but I might just go through and reread my reviews, because when The Wrong Marquess came out last year, I did reread the entire series, so I might, and I was blogging my reviews at that point, so I might just go back and reread my reviews just to kind of touch base on what everybody's doing, because there's 4 books out. This will be book 5. And I'm excited for book 6 too. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. When is the 24th? Next week? Next Tuesday? Next Tuesday. It's next Tuesday already? No way. I have very little time to finish some of my reading challenges. May. Here we are. Here we are. Next week is the last week of May. Holy freaking crap. There are a lot of books that come out. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 books that come out next Tuesday. 3, and those are just the ones I have written down. So we've got How to Steal a Scoundrel's Heart by Vivian Lorette, Book 5 in the Mating Habits of Scoundrels. I'm going to take off my paper clip because it's closed. We've got The Bride Goes Rogue by Joanna Shoup. That's the third book in her Fifth Avenue Rebels series. We've got Dukes Do It Better by Bethany Bennett, which is another book I cannot wait for. And that is the third book in her Misfits of Mayfair series. And then Rachel Higginson is also releasing Secrets We Whisper in the Moonlight, which is the second book in the Decisions in Durham series, which I have not read the first book yet, but I binged her series Opposites Attract. It was a 4-book series last month. I think it was last month because I started out a month with it, and I know I've already done a wrap up with it where I talked about them. So I think it was April. And this is a spin-off series of that. And so the second book is coming out. So I do need to read the first book. That one's not a priority. The Bethany Bennett is a priority, and the Vivian Lorette is a priority. So I cannot wait to have those books. I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, I just got so excited about next Tuesday. Okay. I need to catch up on my books. Oh, I know. It's considered the last Tuesday because the last Tuesday of the month is when historical and a lot of traditional romance books come out. But the last Tuesday of the month is technically the 31st, but that's also the day after Memorial Day. So I can understand why they shifted them a week early. Okay, I'm not as freaked out now. I was like, how can that be the last month? But I'm guessing with Memorial Day, because that is a holiday that we take off at work. I'm guessing Memorial Day weekend, I'm going to be reading a lot unless I get sucked into other projects. But, alright, I'm going to stop rambling at you because I cannot help myself. We have a 17-minute clip for the quick quest calendar and a 2% review of a book. It's Monday. I'm tired and I need to read. So, I will see you all later. Hello, happy Tuesday. It is just about 11 o'clock and the Avalanche just won game 1 against the St. Louis Blues in round 2. It went into overtime and we were pretty, at least halfway, I feel like, through the first overtime. But thankfully the Avs scored, got it taken care of. Oh, there was a lot of ticky-tacky icing calls played, which was kind of weird, but whatever. They won. I'm excited. It'd be nice if they swept the Blues like they did to them last year, but I know now that it's the second rounds, both teams have a round under their belts. Oh. And I wasn't super worried about rust, but it did seem like, at least during the first period, things were just slightly out of sync where passes were bouncing, or maybe it was ice conditions, or I don't know what it was, but passes weren't quite as tight and tape to tape as they usually are with the guys. Although, they also hit 3 freaking posts. It was like, those posts are popping out of the ice. But they won. And that's all that matters. So game 2 is on Thursday at 7:30 again. And Rake Appreciation is at 6 or 7? 6. So I think it'll be done before the game, which will be super cool. Because I won't have to try to double watch like what usually ends up happening when a book club is on a game. But anyway, speaking of, I finished The Marquess Makes His Move by Diana Quincy. Oh guys. So I was at 11% this morning. I got through 11% last night. And then I read like 1 or 2% again this morning, waiting for my Uber guy. And then I finished it tonight, before the game and after the game. Speaking of, real quick, interlude, I got my car back. And
And, yesterday when I dropped it off, it was only supposed to be a few hours. And then at 3 o'clock today, I called them and I was like, hey, I haven't heard anything. I don't want to bother you if something crazy happened, because working in a repair shop, I know how it gets and I know how annoying it is when people say, but they said it would only take a few hours. So I called them and they're like, we checked the codes, we ran the codes, we saw the codes, we saw what the code said was happening. But they tried multiple times to get my car to do what it was doing, and it did not. But the guy was super nice again. I just feel bad. Every time I've taken it to them, they're like, there's nothing, it's not doing anything for us. So I'm just like, these guys probably think I'm stupid or that I don't know what's going on. But at least this time I had lights and there were codes that popped up. But they couldn't get it to do what it did to me. So I'm going to be driving my car and freaking out in case it does weird things again. And be super hyper vigilant, which I'm vigilant anyway. But I wish they would have found something, even something little. I get sick to my stomach. I couldn't eat any food all day. And then when I finally got home, I made some eggs and toast because I was like, I gotta eat something. But I was sick to my stomach from stress and the nerves and like, oh my God, am I gonna have to buy a new transmission or what's happening? And but they couldn't get it to work. They couldn't get it to do it for them. So whatever it is, it's intermittent, which means it hasn't gotten bad enough to really be presenting with something obvious that needs to be fixed. So I'm hoping it will kind of stay that way until I can get things moved. And now the money that I was saving for moving and whatever potential deposit I might need for a new place will not have to go to car repairs at this time. But knock on all the wood. Okay, but anyway, back to Rake Appreciation. So I finished it tonight. Now, this is the first Diana Quincy I've read, and this is the third book in the series. And outside of just kind of seeing his cousin and his sister, who I am guessing are the first two books, I'm going to give this 3 stars. I was engaged-ish. I mean, I was kind of feeling slumpy. And because this book wasn't immediately like the blurb or just knowing what little I knew of it wasn't drawing me in, I was struggling, as you saw, to pick it up. And here is my big issue. There were so many times for both characters where they could have told the truth and stopped lying by omission and lying outright and hiding things and keeping secrets and all of these things and not letting the misunderstanding extend and creating more misunderstandings and having it spiral on each other. And it was just like one after another. And I can handle misunderstandings if they're done well, if they make sense. But man. And there are a couple, okay, so I haven't really talked about it because I had read so little before. So Alex is the Marquess of Brandon. And he and his neighbor were having issues at his country estate. And so he hires a prominent map maker to draw the property lines as kind of like a proof kind of a thing, because his neighbor is trying to take over like a watered meadow area that is on his property line. And this is an issue because not only is it actually his land, but this is a big water source for a lot of his tenants' farms and acreage. So that would be cutting off a main water source for people in that area. And he does not want that because that would put them in dire straits. And never mind the fact that it is his land and he wants his land back. And he's not down for that. So it just, and then we come to find out our heroine is Rose, and she is married to this prominent map maker. But what people don't know is she is actually the map maker, and she signs everything R. Fleming because her name is Rose and her husband's name is Roger, and he runs the business even though she has the whole business mind, and it was her uncle's shop that was passed down to her. But because, you know, marriage and all that, he gets possession of all of her things, and they're merchant class, but he wants to, because they deal with the ton and higher society, he puts on airs a lot and is spending more money than they should. And then there's just, so he goes undercover as a footman, Alex does, our Marquess, to find evidence that his neighbor bribed, paid, did whatever to get the map maker to draw the map wrong, because there's a old stone fencing wallish thing that would denote very obviously where the property line is, but it was omitted from the map he received with the when he got the maps surveyed and created. So this is the romance between him and Rose. I was not sure what was going to happen with the fact that she's married. And while cheating isn't necessarily a trigger for me or something I take issue with, I wasn't too fond of how this all came about, and then it got a little too, I don't know, I've heard Justin say like mustache twirly, and it got a little like predictable and stereotypical with how this guy was a bad guy, and I didn't really like the way that it came out, because if you want spoilers, skip ahead to when the cover comes down. But he has a whole family, and he was married to this girl, and before he married Rose, so technically Rose is the mistress, and it just was too much. And this dude, like, I get it, he's not a good guy, but he was too, like, he was too much. He felt more of a stereotype of this kind of a person than actually a real person, if that makes sense. Like, it just, nobody has thoughts like that unless they're a psychopath or a sociopath or has some sort of issues. But he clearly doesn't, because I don't know. It was just too, I don't know. And I want to say stereotypical, but I don't feel like that's 100% the right word. But then it was just like the things with, she finally finds out that he has a mistress, so she confronts him, and her husband immediately explains she's technically the mistress, and because he was married to this lady beforehand, because she finds out he has a son that's older, so she thinks he got his mistress pregnant before they got married, and then they have like 3 kids, so he's obviously gotten his mistress pregnant after they've been married, and he hasn't been sleeping with her for years. He only slept with her like the first 3 months of their marriage, and it was just like this whole thing. And I'm just like, oh my god, he just needed to be a bad guy. He didn't need to have some secret family or some secret whatever. We could have just left it as he removed all evidence of the marriage, and it wasn't a real marriage, and it just was like too over the top. And then he kept coming back and trying to like blackmail and act like he had control over her after like 4 or 5 times of being proven that he doesn't have control and he doesn't have the right. And it was just too much. On top of the fact that there's the misunderstanding that so he thinks she's the mistress, and Alex is like super attracted to her, but he's the footman and she's his employer. And so I felt like that wasn't really affirmed. Like, if like that boundary was dropped too much for me to start. Like, from get-go, that wasn't a boundary. And I feel like it should have been more of a boundary. And I get it, he's a footman and he's not used to being a footman, and he's a Marquess, so he's even more haughtier than lower high society. I don't know. And then it was just like they kept hiding things. And so when they finally start to get intimate, she knows she's not technically married anymore. He thinks she's just in a place where her marriage is falling apart, even though he doesn't know that they technically, I don't know, he just thinks she's upset because she found out he has a mistress in this other wife, and he's spending their money to support this other wife. And so he's like trying to not like put his desires on her because he knows she might regret it, but she won't just come out and say, I'm not actually married. And then he finds out himself, and I'm just like, so she's hiding things from him, and he's hiding things from her, and then they're hiding something else, and then they're hiding something else, and then, so, okay, whatever. Finally, all this blows out, and I knew the big deal was going to be that he was pretending he was the Marquess, which went on longer. I wish that reveal had either came sooner, or I don't know, or was later on. It was like at a weird spot in the book where there was too much time spent her being angry with him. And at this point, oh God. And it was just like, they kept being like, oh, we'll talk about telling the truth later. And they have a conversation because she kind of proposes the marriage to him suddenly. And he's like, give me a few hours. And then when he agrees, he's like, we need to open up and be honest about some things first. And she's thinking, okay, I need to tell him that I'm actually the map maker. I'm not just making side maps for fun. And he's thinking, I need to tell her who I really am. And they'd have a talk about how they need to open up and they don't want any more secrets or anything coming between them anymore. And we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. And then she finds out she's freaking pregnant and she doesn't tell him. And that's another thing, even though that they've had multiple discussions about being honest with each other. And then she hides the fact that she thinks she's pregnant. And I get like waiting, but she's a couple months along. And then he finds out from a freaking other person. And I'm just like, why? Why is this book filled with misunderstandings that are unnecessary? And then when they're resolved, it's not like they're even made up into some huge deal. It's just like he finds out and he's just excited. And I'm just like, why? Why? I don't know, man. Misunderstanding has to be done really, really well. And it usually has to be one big one. Or even if it was just the fact him being the footman, but it was just compounded by all of these other things and all of these other weird things. And then it turned out that the next door neighbor was like mustache twirly and held him all at gunpoint. And I was just like, why? 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 But there were parts I enjoyed. I also feel like I didn't really get the emotional connection between them. It felt very physical based. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I've been kind of a slumpy thing, or by the time they were intimate, I was just kind of over all the freaking misunderstandings and secrets between them. But it didn't feel steamy to me. Like the words were steamy and they were well written, but I didn't feel the tension and connection between them. But I am interested in reading other books of hers. I don't know if I'm interested in picking up the other books in this series. I haven't heard good things from people whose opinions I trust about the one with the bone cutter, his cousin Hannah. I am kind of intrigued about his sisters. But I don't know. I think I would try one of her other series first before jumping back into one of these series, or any of the books in this series. But I don't know. We'll see. If I do, she's not at the top of my list, but I won't not read her, if that makes sense. And I did find that all of the Arab culture and history that was kind of placed throughout, I thought it was really cool the way it was done, and it just felt very natural, and it didn't feel like it was, it wasn't, like, it just felt normal, I guess would be the best way to say it. Like, it was just like, yeah, they're part Arab, and her grandfather was Arab, and his mother was Arab, and they are kind of in between worlds. And I know that that was a contention thing for high society, and feeling like they have a place to be themselves and just feel accepted, because they aren't quite, like, they're too a part of high society to be with their merchant family, but the tainted blood, as she says in it, takes them out of being fully accepted into high society. And I don't know, I just thought that was it was really well done, and it didn't feel like the political or whatever aspects of it that could have been behind it were being, like, shoved in your face kind of a thing. Like the feminism aspects and the racial things. It just felt very normalized, and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, so I'm going to stop my rant about that. 3 stars. I did use this for Love Has Sprung Board 1 to cover flowers on the cover. And then for the Taylor Swift Quarterly Challenge, I used it for Shake It Off, which is either a character who likes art or a character you want to shake some sense into. And there were 2 characters there were more than 2, but the 2 main characters I definitely wanted to shake some sense into multiple times. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what other people thought during Rake Appreciation Society. So, we'll do quest calendar real quick because I've been ranting. Alright, so yesterday we fought the lava monster. And let us see what happens today. Oh! And Goblin Camp. Alright, we've got another map. So we are going to be starting here in the S and then making our way to the star as per how usual. So let me read the description and then we'll figure out a route. The path up Burning Peak is blocked by a camp of goblins. These may not be as friendly as those encountered in the city. It is best to avoid them and pass through without being seen. Thank goodness we are a stealthy character. So navigate the camp, begin at the S for start, and make your way to the N labeled with a star. Visit a site if you dare. Resolve each site you visit before choosing your next. So, I mean, the completionist in me wants to visit all of the locations, but it says visit a site if you dare. So, I usually go left. So what we are going to do is we are going to start here and we're going to go on the left side and go around. So we are going to encounter, we're going to say 4, and then we will encounter site 2, and then we will hit the star. And maybe after we hit site 4, maybe I'll change my mind, or after we do site 2, maybe I'll change my mind. But we'll start there and then we'll see how I feel. So I am going to grab my dice here in case we have to roll anything. I'm sure we'll have to at least roll some stealth rolls. Okay, and I will need to move my things. Okay, so 4 is first. The main barracks are full of sleeping goblins. It should be easy enough to sneak through. Roll a d20 plus the dexterity. Reminder, stealthy. Sweet. So, our dexterity, I believe, is a +7. And we do have stealthy, which gives a +2. So we are at a +9. Let me just double check. Oh, my dex is a +6. So we are at a +8. Okay. And that is a 9. So 17. I can do math, I promise. All right, so this is number 4. Okay, if the result is 8 or more, we are good. You sneak past the carousing goblins without them noticing you. Cool. Okay, so number 2. You come across a prison where captives are held. Looking inside, you only see a single dwarf held there. Roll d20 plus dexterity. Reminder, locksmith. We do not have locksmith, but we do have a +6 dex. Okay. Oh, it rolled away. Oh, a 19. Okay, so that is the 25. What is this room 2? Okay, if the result is 13 or more, you free the dwarf, who then quickly runs away. You wish him luck. Gain 1 virtue point. Yay! Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of glance and see at number 5, because that's in the center, and just see, okay, that is a main structure in the center of the camp. I don't think I'm going to go there, because if that's a main structure, that's probably like a meeting hall. Okay. Alrighty, so I think I'm going to just do that. And we are going to be at the star. So I will just mark that I have gained a virtue point, which puts us at 7. Why are you knocking my papers off? Is it time for bed? I just got booped on the nose by this. Oh my gosh, you knocked my paper off again. Pay attention, Riho. Hey, pay attention, Riho. She is so cute. So, the last thing I want to chat about real quick is I'm going to start Burn For Me tonight by Ilona Andrews. This is book 1 in Hidden Legacy. This is a reread for me, so I'm hopefully it will go quicker. I did read this a couple years ago. This is the only book I've read in the series. Don't ask me why I didn't pick the rest up, because it was really good. But are we surprised? It's Ilona Andrews. But I am so excited to get back to this series and refresh. I know the magic system is a lot different here. And I know that Mad Rogan is one of Jessam's favorite book boyfriends. So I'm excited to not only reread this book, but then get to the other 2 books that deal with, this is Nevada, right? Yep. Nevada and Mad Rogan. And so I can really understand why she loves Mad Rogan so much. Because I remember being intrigued by him here, but we didn't really see, I feel like we didn't get the full effect of what he becomes or what he really can do. But yeah, I'm excited to pick this back up. It's already late, so I probably won't get too far, but I need to read this, and I need to read the book 2 by Friday. So hopefully I can finish this by Wednesday night, and then I can start book 4 Wednesday night and read it Thursday night, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to pick up Burn For Me next. So there is that. Why are you being naughty? Chewing on plastic. You say hi. You say, I'm sorry, I'm a naughty kitty. Yeah, look what help. You want to say hi to the people? Say hi. I'm a juice booth. She turns 21 this year. Can you believe that? You turned 21. You're an old lady kitty. Alright. We will see you all later. Hello. Happy Thursday. Yes. It is Thursday. It is currently during the second intermission of the second game of the second round. Avs versus Blues. Avs are currently down to nothing. Oh boy, this game has a lot of bouncing pucks, and the Avs are just like one stride too short or one stick length too short, and pucks keep bouncing, and I don't know. And the Blues are good at being like closing it down defensively and mucking up the neutral zone. And when we play teams like this, it's always better for us to not rely on the skill and get down deep and get in the crease and get those gritty goals, those bounces, those tips, and just get down deep and rebounds and things like that. And they're just trying to play too pretty. They're trying to rely on their skill. They're trying to make the pretty outside shots. And none of them are getting through because there's Blues people in the way. And it's driving me insane because we know how to beat them. We've done it before. We've done it this year. Man. But anyway, so I did not update yesterday because I just wanted to read. So usually I'm like, I did nothing, or I did nothing reading related. But last night I both started and finished Burn For Me by Ilona Andrews. I reread this for the Hidden Legacy readathon. It is still 5 stars. Still freaking amazing. Ugh. I love it. And then if you want to see, this is the bookmark I chose to use. Then it has this fun little ribbon, but I love fun, unique artwork bookmarks. But anyway, so if you have not heard of Hidden Legacy, this is a more romancy series, but it focuses, it's like a series of trilogies within the series. So book 1, 2, and 3 are about Nevada and Mad Rogan. And Nevada is, I don't know. So the way that magic works is completely different from the Kate Daniels series. And it's very, very interesting. So I'm going to try to do a crash course here. So magic was discovered, I want to say, in 1800s. Or a serum was discovered in the 1800s. Let me see. It was in, the prologue, 1863. And they discovered what's called the Osiris serum, which basically not created, but activated magic that was in people. And it manifests in very different ways. And there's levels of magic. So I can't remember all of them, but the highest one is prime. And then there's significant, notable. And then I feel like there might be 1 or 2 other levels as well. But primes are the big dogs. Max power, super crazy. And it's a lot of the world has evolved in a similar way to what ours has done. But with magic, it kind of started with the aristocracy. And what they've done is they have basically, it's now power. It's another form of power. So a lot of families will marry, and a man will choose a wife very specifically for her genes and what type of magic she is, so that their offspring has not only the best chance of becoming prime, but having a good set of skills. Mad Rogan's father is a telekinetic, and he chooses his mother to wed specifically for her genes, and so that Mad Rogan will have, or whatever children they were hoping for, would have mainly telekinetic powers, but also the telepathy powers from the mother's line, which is what happened with Mad Rogan. And whoever the prime is, although it's not always the prime, sometimes it's the one level lower than that. If there is no prime in a family, they become the head of that house. So houses, I mean, they're pretty much just corporations, but they're all familial. And, they kind of war with each other, but also, and they're almost their own form of, it's almost like, because like, if we think of now modern government in our world, it's the three big branches. So you can almost think of like the houses of the magic system is almost like a fourth, and together all the houses come together, and that would be like the fourth branch of the government. And while they don't have government power, if all of the houses and heads of the houses come together and are telling something basically to the government listens, because if all of them can agree on something, it's probably something that needs to be taken note of. But so there's an even more of like a class difference, power difference. So it's kind of the basic rundown of how magic works. So Mad Rogan is one of the most powerful primes ever. And he was in college, kind of wanted to escape his parents' plans, and ended up signing up for the military instead. And he is, I'm not 100% sure exactly what his, like, because he's telekinetic, but it sounds like he has a lot of wind magic and just like destroying things and moving things, and it's like really cool. And like, he's pretty much a hurricane. Like, he'll stand and these winds will be almost created, or his magic is what's creating the wind-like effect, and he can just like demolish buildings that are around him. Now, Nevada has a very special magic that her father has helped her keep secret, and it is called Truth Seeker magic. And her passive ability, which is all that we've seen her basically use, is she can just tell if someone is telling the truth or not. If they lie, she feels like a buzzing in her magic. Like, her magic is like, that's a lie, that's a lie, it's a lie. And she hides it because very few people have this type of magic, and when they do, they basically get approached by FBI, Homeland Security, various government agencies and houses, and basically become secret interrogators, and they do dirty work that's hidden. It's not like they're interrogators that are in the justice system and go on trial. They are, the CIA interrogators that arrived to some dude tortured, tied to a chair with bag over his head, So she didn't want that, or at least her father didn't want her to be forced into that if she wasn't interested in that. So her parents had a private investigation, and so she got her criminal justice degree, and now she has taken over Baylor investigations. Her father has passed away. He died from cancer, and it is her mother, who is a injured vet and like a hella kick-ass sniper. Her mother is so fun. And then her grandmother, who's also a vet, but she is like a mechanic and works on armored vehicles for the houses and military, and her grandmother's super fun. And then we have her younger sisters, Catalina and Arabella, and then her two cousins also live with them, Bren. You'd think I know this. Crap. Barn? No, not barn. What is wrong with my brain? Burn. And Leon. So in this series, the first three books are, like I mentioned before, Nevada and Mad Rogan. And then there is a 3.5 novella. And then the second trilogy, so books 4, 5, and what will be 6. 6 comes out later this year, is, I want to say, Catalina. I think Catalina is older than Arabella. I have not read her trilogy yet. So I don't know. It's the second oldest daughter. I want to say it's Catalina. But anyway, I love this. The magic is super fun. So in book 1, she gets basically tasked by the house that her business has become subsidiary to, because they had financial issues when her father was going through cancer, and so they basically sold their business as a subsidiary to the Montgomery. I want to say it's the Montgomery. I don't know, it's MII, but it's one of the house's investigation groups. And they get tasked to locate a prime son of the Pierce house. And he's like, he's like the boy who never grew out of his rebel teenager phase. And he's all fire magic. And he likes to get arrested and pretend he's like some badass motorcycle dude. So she gets tasked to bring him into his family before the cops can find him. And she's basically thrown in this situation by the MII company, because if he's like, statistically, they have the best percentage win rate of their cases and all of these things. But he's basically expecting them all to die or fail horribly, and then they can put it all on them, and then their business is forfeit, and the big corporation company is basically just using them. But Nevada doesn't let it slide, and she will figure it out. And while she is investigating, Mad Rogan's cousin's son has become embroiled with this prime. His name is Adam Pierce, and in his like rebel ways, and so his cousin comes to him and asks for help to get him out of whatever Adam drug him into. And he is unable, as a former military, we learn he kind of has his own, like, I don't know, mercenary special ops company. And he takes in like retired vets who aren't able to find other work, and it's all very like loyalty based. And he definitely is a prime, but he's slightly different because he rejected a lot of the conformities that were placed on him, but he still has like the arrogance and the upbringing of being in this social situation. So it's weird. It's a fun and weird mix between him. And I don't know. I love them together. It is so great. And Nevada is like absolutely terrified of him, absolutely turned on, and just wants to run away from him, but just like can't ever seem to. And so through the situation, they end up becoming partners, because she knows she can't take Adam Pierce down because he is a prime fire mage, and Mad Rogan is one of the most powerful primes ever, pretty much. And so she decides to team up with him because he can help her collect Adam. So yeah, and it is the start of their romance, and these ones definitely are a little more romancy than the Kate Daniels series, but I know that it is going to be drawn out over the trilogy. Like I said, this is a reread for me. It has been a couple years since I read it, and I don't know why I never read past this book. I probably just got sucked into other things, but man, I forgot how good this book was. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Alona Andrews, the way that they write and the worlds that they create are just so magnificent and feel so full. It's not just this city, this town, this group of people. It is, you feel like you're in a living, breathing universe. Oh, I love their writing so much. So we're at the start of the third period, so let me try to do things here. So for this book, I used it for Love Has Sprung, for has a building or a house on the cover, and there are two buildings that are crumbling apart because of Matt Rogan. And then I also used this for Cornelia Street for the Taylor Swift Quarterly Challenge, and for a similar prompt that is either a road or a building on the cover, which this is, or a small town romance. So both building on the cover related, which is weird because it's not a prompt I see all that often. And it's weirdly in both of the quarterly challenges right now. So there is that. Now, let us do the quest calendar. We'll do yesterday's and then today's real quick. And then we will talk about what I've picked up next. Also, tomorrow, Friday, is the Hidden Legacy thing. So I am just cutting it close. So we last talked on Tuesday where we were wandering around the goblin camp and we made it successfully to the star. So yesterday's, goblins. Okay. Just when you think you are safe and away from the goblin camp, you run into a party of goblins that were returning from a hunting mission. They seem to be empty-handed and look to you like you are a nice and easy meal. So it looks like we will have one round for 4 different goblins. One round each for 4 different goblins. Just a d20 plus attack, and then whatever our damage roll is. So let me get out my dice. Oh. Okay, good. They killed off the penalty. That's good. Back at even strength. Man, I hope the apps win. The puck just went rolling by. It's so ridiculous. Okay. There's a lot of people falling down tonight too, so I don't know. It was 90 degrees in Denver today. It was like 87 up here in where I'm at. And we had fire warnings all day for just like, you had to be extremely careful because of the sudden heat, and we haven't had much moisture. And guess what tomorrow's supposed to be? 45 degrees with 2 to 3 inches and all rainy and cloudy, and then 2 to 3 inches of snow Friday into Saturday. I mean, it's not really going to accumulate much because it has been so hot lately, but I mean, May snowstorms aren't the weirdest thing. Oh, good. Good. They drew a penalty. Good. Hopefully the Avs can take advantage and cut the lead in half. Cool. Okay, so I rolled. I am getting completely distracted. I tried to do this quickly during the intermission, but I should have known better. Okay. I have stuff everywhere. Okay. My character sheet. We have a +7 to attack. And I rolled a 7. So that is... Did I roll a 7? Yes, I rolled a 7. So that is 14. So, if your attack roll is 14 or more, I almost said 13, but that's 13 or less. So 14 or more, you hit the goblin. Cool. So damage roll is 2d10 plus 1. And that is an 11 plus 1, so 12. Okay, if your damage roll is 8 or more, the goblin dies. Goblin 1 dead. Woo! Hold on. Woo! Playoff.com. They just scored on the power play. And it looks like it was our captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Man, I'm watching it on silent, and I know the fans are going crazy, and there's a goal. Every time we score, there's a goal song. Oh, look at Landy celebrate. Guys, I love hockey. I'm sure it would be very entertaining to just watch a clip of me just watching hockey, especially when they're playing really well. Okay, moving on. Let's try to get through these quick because the game is on and they are now down only 2-1. They finally broke the seal on Bennington, so let's go. All right. 19 plus 7. If your attack roll is 15 or more, you hit the goblin. We hit the goblin. So damage is 9 plus 1, so 10. If your damage roll is 7 or more, the goblin dies. So goblin number 2 is dead. Okay. Goblin number 3 is an 18, natural 18. If our attack roll is 13 or more, we hit the goblin. Damage is a 10 and a 7, so 17, so 18. Okay, we needed 9 or more damage, so goblin number 3 is dead. And our final goblin number 4, that's a 1. So that's an 8. If your attack roll is 14 or more, it is not. It is less. Man, that 1 came out of nowhere. So, if you missed, the enemy jumps on your back and bites at your neck. So our defense is a 16. If your defense is 16 or more, reduce your health by 1. Cool. So we only take 1 damage. Okay. And then the 1 goblin that we did not kill flees from us in terror. And then because we killed the other 3, we gain 3 gold. So I will get that marked. So we now have a total of 2 damage. Woohoo. And we get 3 more gold. So we are up to 35. 35. Okay. So that was Wednesday's quest calendar. So let us move forward to what today's is. So once again, we fought these 4 goblins and we killed 3 of them. We're going to say this is the one that we didn't kill. He looks a little tougher. Okay. Ooh. Okay. We are at the top, it looks like. It looks like we've got a volcano or something. Okay. You make it to the top of Burning Peak and see a raging volcano in the distance. There is a trail alongside the cliff's edge leading to a rope bridge across a ravine. The entrance to Telzaroth's lair is just beyond that. It is a treacherous path, but you must cross it. Okay, number 1. Deal with the sweltering heat of the nearby volcano. Roll a d20 plus Constitution. And then number 2, traverse the cliff wall and cross the rope bridge. Roll a d20 plus Dexterity. Reminder, athlete. Sweet. I think based on how this game has been going so far, it is good we chose a dex-based character. We chose did. I swear. Is it Friday yet? Okay, that is a 12 and wait, what are we doing? What do we roll first? Constitution. What are we doing? Okay. Our Constitution is a 0. So just the 12. Okay. So between 8 and 14, I could use the 3 points that we had to bump us up to 15. But let us see what happens, and then we might use those points. You are unable to handle the heat. Your vision blurs and you sweat profusely. Reduce your health by 1. Take a -1 penalty to traverse the cliff and rope bridge. Number 2 below. We're gonna take it. Oh gosh. I just picked that box up upside down. And it was still open. Okay, so we'll take a -1. But that's okay. I'm okay with that, knowing that we are dex-based and we also have athlete. And we also have athlete from our follower dude. So, the next one, traverse the cliff wall and cross the rope bridge. So we have a +6 from our dex, a +2 from athlete, and then a +2 from our followers athlete. So that is a total of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minus the 1 from the heat exhaustion. So we are at a +9. And that is a 14. So we are at 23. Okay, If the result is 15 or more, you take your time and make it across gracefully without incident. Cool. Yeah, we take our time because sweat is in our eyeballs and we do not want to fall off. Okay. Wow. All right, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to meet, what is his name? Telzeroth, the dragon. But I love dragons. Okay. That's one thing I didn't mention. Nevada's nickname she relates to Mad Rogan, and she calls him a dragon a lot. And even though he's like not a dragon, she like talks about, oh, the dragon's come out of his lair, or oh, the dragon's steely blue eyes are on me. And it's just really funny the way that she calls him a dragon in her mind. It's so funny. I just love it. I love it. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so quest calendar is done. Last little bit before I get back to watching my game. I have now picked up book 2 in Hidden Legacy. This is White Hot by Lona Andrews. I'll show you my pretty bookmark. I'm only this far in because I started it when I watched the game, and I've pretty much just been reading during commercial breaks and intermissions. But book club is tomorrow, and I gotta get this done. But Alona Andrews is a quick read for me, so I should, depending on how late I end up staying up tonight, I should be able to get through most of it at least. But I will show you since I'm here. This is the pretty bookmark that I'm using. A little koi fish and a lily pad. But yeah, I'm only 39 pages in. And so far, it's been intriguing. So in here, Nevada is approached. Okay, first of all, the prologue. Nevada uses, so in Burn For Me, she accidentally doesn't know how, but basically controls Mad Rogan because an incident happens with her mother and she's so stressed out and protective, and she basically controls Mad Rogan and interrogates him, and it's like, and drags answers from him, and he can't fight it off at first. And so in the beginning of this, we see her do that to a man who was kidnapping, torturing, possibly raping. It's not 100% clear, but definitely not good things to young girls. And that it has been going on for a year. And he has finally been caught, but there is another young girl still missing. And so she goes in to interrogate him to find the location. And that is what the prologue is. And then I don't know how much time has passed, but since the end of Burn For Me, but it's been, I want to say at least a couple of months, because she has not seen or heard from Mad Rogan since they kind of last talked in Burn For Me. Oh, go, 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 go. Okay, that was scary. Good job, Kips. I was like, ah! Okay. But yeah, so she is approached by Cornelius, who is he's a lower member of a house, and he's kind of separated himself, but she had met him in the first book because he was friends with Adam Pierce, the prime that she was trying to hunt down, and his wife was murdered, and does something with, she's a lawyer, she does something with law, and he finds out that she gets murdered, and nobody will talk to him or tell him anything. And then finally, when somebody does say something, they basically suggest that she was having an affair, and it was this big whole deal. And he gets like a quick little notes from the detective on what happened to her, like what was her cause of death, and he obviously doesn't know how to do it. And so, because Nevada's mother was a sniper, and she's been trained to use a gun by her mother, she knew what these notes were, and his wife was basically caught in the middle between two people firing. And then after she was killed and gone down, she was shot twice in the head, close range, confirming the kill basically. And there was also traces of polyethylene or something like that. But basically that shows that she was wearing at some point a bulletproof vest. But she was shot with like armor piercing bullets, so they didn't do much. And then they confirmed the kill. And so it's absolutely horrible, and she doesn't want to take the case. She doesn't want to get drug into what is potentially two house wars, but she just can't not help him. So she is with him, and they are going to interrogate, ask questions of the head of the house that his wife worked for. We have not seen Matt Rogan yet, but I'm guessing we'll see him soon, and he'll either be here in this assembly or he will approach her if whatever happens here. What I also really like is Cornelius's magic is animal based, and he basically can like talk to animals, and from what it seems like, he can't control them, but he can talk to them and befriend them and understand what they're saying. And he has like little animal pets that watch over his daughter. There was like a raccoon and a cat and a ferret, and then in this one he had a dog, and then he also has a Talon. a Talon. He has a hawk that he calls Talon. And so I just love like animal magic too, so it's super fun. But yeah, like I said, I'm only 9 pages in, and I'm already just like loving it, and I would be very surprised if this does not end up being 5 stars. I just love Ilona Andrews. They are freaking amazing, and I am so excited to finally be reading Hidden Legacy all the way through, at least through what will be released. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling at you because it is a long update, but we had lots of book stuff to talk about. Alrighty, I'm going to get back to watching the game and reading, and I will see you all tomorrow. Hello. It is not Friday, but I'm here to wrap up this week's vlog. It is Saturday. It is just about 5:30, so pregame starts in the Avs game. I'm wearing my away jersey because they're in St. Louis for the next 2 games. I got my iced tea. I made some beef taquitos, and the kitty just ate her dinner, which is why she's even more Twitter-pated, and she has kitty food on her nose. Look at you. You're very cute. Come here. You want to show the people? She's got kitty food on her nose. Look at kitty food on your nose. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, there you go. One thing. But I did not update last night because I wanted to finish. I have it over here. White Hot by Ilona Andrews. I did finish it, but I had about 100 pages left when the live show happened last night. And it was a fun live show, but you know, I had fun with the girls during the Kate Daniels read along, so I wasn't too surprised that it would be fun talking about Hidden Legacy. Oh, this book was so good. I cannot wait to see what freaking happens. Oh my gosh, I'm just okay. So I know I did an update at like 30 something pages, but so there's a lot to touch base on here, but oh my gosh, Nevada is starting to recognize herself as a prime in terms of magic level wise, and apparently at least Catalina is a prime as well, and we get a touch of her magic where she basically makes people fall in love with her, but it can become a very dangerous situation because the youngest sister, Arabella, has to pull her out of like entrancing people because Nevada says like if once it gets to a certain point, they'll want pieces of her, like try to take off pieces of her hair, her fingernails, her fingers, and it gets like really scary. So I'm intrigued about Catalina's power. I want to know what Arabella's power is.
And we kind of get a sneak peek of what Leon's power might be. So, I'm super excited. But Rogan asked her at one point, is there at least one other prime besides you? And she says yes. And I feel like at least all 3 sisters are primes. That's my guess. But, so, we do kind of figure out that what happened is we're hearing all these little things in the background of what's going on. There was a senator that was murdered that nobody can find any issues on. And then, like I mentioned, the prologue is also a thing, but that's kind of separate from like the main overarching plot of the book. At this point, it may come to pass in the 3rd book. But so basically we see here Nevada is starting to own her power and not hide with it anymore. And other houses are starting to become aware of her. And she has a discussion with Connor about she was basically asking him for advice, and he basically tries to he pushes her away because he's like, you're gonna have to be in your own house and I'm separated from my house, I'm not a good ally. And she doesn't care. He's like, you're gonna want to find children with good genetic matches. And he's just, because that's how all the other houses is. And in her head she's like, no, that's not the kind of person I was before becoming a prime and potentially creating or turning Baylor into House Baylor. So why would I do it after we become a house? And they finally pop the seal. And it is so good. I love the tension between them. It is just so... Alona Andrews just is so good at fleshing out all characters, not just main characters and immediate side characters, but just Joe Blow random woman that we see for one scene who's one of Rogan's persons, and she just feels so real and settled in, I don't know, most people talk about world building and the world of a book, but with Alona Andrews, they're at such a higher tier. I always refer to it as the universe that they create, because even though it is all on an alternate reality Earth, it feels just so much more expansive than typical world building. And man, it's just so good. And I know I'm pretty much just saying it's good without like other things to say about it, but it was so good. And I know that Smart Women Read Romance has done some podcasts on some of the Hidden Legacy books, so I definitely want to go through. I know they did one of the Catalina books, but it's been a while since I listened to them. It was whenever they originally published. But so I want to go back and see what books that they have done podcasts on and re-listen to them now that I've read the books, because I don't really care. I'll listen to the podcast whether I've read the book or not. And a lot of times listening to the podcast convinces me to pick up a book because I know I will enjoy it. Just kind of based off what they thought about it and what is included in the book. So I'm not a big stay away from spoilers person unless it comes to some things. I care more about spoilers for certain TV shows than I do for books. But yeah, it's man, Alona Andrews. I cannot wait to read the last book in this first trilogy. And then so next month is going to be book 3, which is Wildfire, which will be wrapping up Nevada and Rogan's as main characters. And then the novella, I believe, is in Catalina's POV, but it's dealing with Rogan and Nevada, and so it's kind of a novella to kind of switch you over from them to Catalina. And then the next trilogy in the series, so books 4, 5, and 6, are Catalina and her love interest, who we have not met yet, I don't think. And oh man, I cannot wait to see where this is going. I'm so excited. I really want to pick up the next book, but I'm gonna wait because I have some time. So I did finish this Friday night, so I am including it in the week.
It was a pretty good reading week. Even though I was like kind of super slumpy the week before, I read the graphic novel for Historical Romance Readathon. And then I read the Rake Appreciation book. And then I read the 2 Alona Andrews. So 3 books and a graphic novel. So 4 books. Not bad. Not bad. I think these books in particular are going to get me back into that good reading mood again. And I'm super excited. So, and I'm sorry, I just can't help myself. I move and I'm sorry if it bothers you that I move around, but I talk with my hands, and so holding things and talking, it doesn't work well. Okay, so let me do the quest calendar and then we will end. So, on Thursday, we were up at the top of the peaks, and there we saw a volcano in the distance, and we successfully made it across this bridge. So, another map. Okay. Ooh, and this is a Telzareth's lair, so we are in the dragon's lair. Ooh, so typical. Yep. Start at the S here, and then we'll need to make it to the star. So, let me read the description, and then we'll plan out our route. Once inside this cavern in the volcano, the noise from outside quiets down. It is almost eerie. You hope that the shard of the gate is stashed away somewhere nearby and far from the dragon. Probably not. Okay, so. So I would go left-hand side. So if we're in Route 1, I usually like to go in the left and circle around. But I want to go everywhere because I want to explore the caves. So I think I'm half tempted to go straight across the bottom and then come back and then go up into here. So do the bottom and then circle back and go through the top half. And I know it's a little bit metagamey, but it's hard to not get metagamey with these. Okay, so we're going to do that route. Let me grab my dice in case we will need them. Okay. So, we will start with cavern number 1. Or I guess room. They're calling them rooms. You creep through a winding cave tunnel to find yourself inside a tiled welcome chamber. The walls are adorned with carvings of dragons burning down villages. As you look around, you feel a loose tile on the floor give way as you step on it. It's a trap! You hear a hissing as gas fills the room. D20 plus Constitution, reminder, danger sense. So, our Constitution, I believe, is a +0. Although I'm thinking on our next level up for how much Constitution stuff we've been having to do, it would make sense to increase our Constitution just because we've been using it a lot. And I like to kind of do that. It makes sense that things would get stronger if you're using those skill sets a lot. In my brain, a lot of the times I try to do leveling up for things like that. But we shall see. So, and we do have danger sense, so that adds a +2. So we are at a +2. And that is a 13, so 15. Okay, if the result is 11 or more, you fight off the effects of the gas. Cool. Cool. Okay, so then we're going to do the bottom first, so we will go into room number 3. You find a set of chambers that are suitable for living in. They look well furnished and comfortable. What are they doing here? Dragons typically can become shapeshifters into human or other creatures in the D&D world. Just saying. Okay, so this is intellect reminder student. That is a 16. And our intellect is a 0, so 16. This is room 3. If the result is 11 or more, these could be servant quarters. But dragons are also known to have the ability to take on human form. This could be where it spends its time when in human shape. See, I already knew that. Okay, so 5. Okay, so you enter a room that contains several mud mounds built to hold large dragon eggs. There is also a lizard folk servant present to help look after the eggs. I don't want to kill him, but I guess we gotta attack. Okay. Spirit of +7. And we rolled a 12, so 19. If your attack roll is 13 or more, you hit the servant. So damage. 2d10 +1. Ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, we rolled a 16, so that is +1, so 17. I don't want to kill this dude. If you hit and your damage roll is 7 or more, the servant dies. Well, that was unfortunate. Okay, so we're going to backtrack and go. So we have now done with the welcome chamber, the living area for humanoids, and then this is where the dragon egg room is. So we're going to go back. We're going to go up and hit this chamber with a statue. And then this looks like the entrance to like the treasure room kind of a thing. So, number 2. You find an offering room that Telzarath worshippers use to make appeasements to the dragon. It appears that someone recently visited this room and left something. Roll d20 plus intellect, reminder, investigator. So, a 0. Hi! You eat more kitty food? Ooh, 19. Okay. If the result is 15 or more, you find 12 gold worth of jewelry and a health potion. Sweet. Okay, so room number 4, and then that is that. You come across the entrance to a large room filled with treasure. In the next room, you can see the sleeping dragon Telzarath, but some of the treasure has spilled over into this room. Roll d20 plus intellect, reminder, investigator. Okay. 14 plus 0. So we had a 14. So the highest result is a 15. And I feel like we could find something really important in the treasure. Or this might be something helpful for next time. So I'm going to use one of our points that we have stashed to up it by 1. And I will mark it off. And that will give us a 15. So, you find 15 gold worth of jewels and riches you can take with you. And an iron key. Okay. That is the difference. An iron key. That could be helpful. Cool. So, I'm going to make my notes of what gold we picked up, and that we picked up an iron key as well. And I will leave it at that, and I will start my pregame. Thank you so much for watching this week. Although you're not watching this throughout the week. This is just one video. Oh my gosh, excuse me. My brain is just like, because I'm excited hockey is back and I hope they win. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know if you've read any of this books or you've read Hidden Legacy. I would love to chat more about Alona Andrews with people because she's freaking amazing and I know a lot of people read her, but oh my gosh, I am enjoying this. And tell me why I only read Burn For Me before. Why did I not continue the series? I gave it 5 stars when I read it a couple years ago. Why did I not read more? Please tell me. Please. Look into my past psyche and tell me. Anyway, I'll see you all soon. Bye.